I'm in Hazard's Bike Shop, Santa Barbara on Anacapa Street. It's been here many, many years. And the former owner, I heard, just retired recently, Bruce. But they got a nice inventory here. And I'm surprised. I don't think I've ever seen it this busy. And they got a lot of people working here. They're just doing real well. And I brought my e-bike flathead, and I thought I had all the tools. It's a Core 5 Ride1Up. And it turns out I never did a dry run on changing the tire, and I couldn't even get the wheel off. There's some little tricks I didn't know. But anyway, I will do a dry run. I had a tube, and the stem was too short, so that was a fail right there. But luckily they had the right size tube with a longer stem. What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel. Yeah. Nice man, 23 years old, fixing up my bike. So anyway, nice bunch of people here. What's your name?
Matt.
Matt. He's from Brush, Colorado.
Brush, Colorado.
I told him my aunt was born there in 1916. So anyway, that's enough. Continuing with this flat tire problem that I had today, the fellow at the really nice fellow over there at Hazard's in Santa Barbara found it was the size of a human hair, if that big, little like half-inch long piece of wire that had gotten in here. Now I thought they would be tougher than that, that would, he said they're flat resistant, but that little tiny wire got in there, and I'm so glad, I had someone to help me here, and I wasn't too far from the shop. You had to feel around in there. I don't think you would have been able to see it. So he got that out of there. And then thinking I was all prepared, I had a tube, and the doggone stem wasn't long enough. So luckily for me, he had one with a long enough stem, just barely, So make sure you have a long enough stem. And then the other thing was, and I'd seen this on a video, I couldn't get the tire off on my own. And you need a 18 millimeter wrench to get that off. You could use probably an adjustable wrench, crescent wrench. If you were in a pinch, you might even be able to use a pair of pliers, but that's hard on the equipment. So be prepared, have an 18, and I guess some of them are 19 millimeter. And I found that the 11/16 just about fit on there. And the 19 millimeter, it's loose. The 11/16 is a little too tight almost, but it looked like it could have worked. And so anyway, just if you want to be prepared, do a dry run. I didn't do a dry run. I thought I knew what I was doing, and I've changed a lot of flats on a road bike, but now this is a little more complicated. And of course, you have to be careful with all this. You don't want to. This disconnects here. You have to be careful with it. And the only thing he didn't replace these zip ties. But that's another thing that I didn't have. You need nippers. It's so stupid, but you're not going to be able to take this apart unless you can clip these. He didn't replace them, and you could probably run your bike without putting them in there, but at all. It'd just be a little bit loose. But so anyway, that's replaced. And what else? Oh yeah, the derailleur was a little bit bent, and he straightened that out for me. And he spent a long time cleaning the chain and oiling it. So, oh yeah, and did I say this? He suggested having a 5 millimeter to take the derailleur off. I mean, nobody, just take it off, and that way you're not going to damage it getting the tire out of there, getting the wheel out of there. And let's see, and the 10 millimeters, I said, it might be useful to tease the wheel out of there by placing it on the inside. Anyway, I haven't done this myself. I'm just giving you some tips that may be useful if you have to change the tire. But I would recommend a dry run so that you don't end up like me thinking you have everything and then you don't. So anyway, very good service over there at Hazards, which I find out has been taken over by Specialized. They bought it from a private owner named Bruce. I knew him. Big, tall guy, nice guy. And it is a really good shop. And I got to, though, mention Fast Track. I think they're on Cannon Perdido in Santa Barbara. And that's Dave Lettieri. And he's a really good guy. And that's a good bike shop, too. So that's about it. Thank you. Just a quick correction about something I said about Hazards and Daniel not replacing the zip ties. What I'd forgotten is that I'd taken them off. So when he got the bike, he never even saw zip ties. So that's all on me. He didn't forget anything. They did an excellent job over there at Hazards.